Hello. Good evening. I had to think about that. Good evening. Welcome in. I'm gonna give you all a second. We're gonna get started here in about 3 minutes ish. 3-ish minutes. Hope y'all are doing well. How's the week been going? How y'all doing? How is the week, y'all? I feel like moving down south, y'all, is definitely part of my vocabulary. Definitely part of the vocabulary. Okay. All right. We got about 45 seconds before we get into it. We got 20 seconds from start time. If you all, sorry, I just feel like I get everything out of my throat. But if you all are just joining, thank you for joining my series. It is buying a home in 90 days or less. We're at week 3. I'm excited to discuss with you some of the things that's been going on. All right, it is go time. Welcome, everyone. I hope you're doing well. If y'all don't know who I am, my name is David Simpson. I'm a realtor here with Live&Gather Homes, powered by Real Broker. Welcome to the weekly series, Buying a Home in 90 Days or Less. If this is your first week here, this is week 3. So we've been going through a lot of different things in this process. We talked about credit scores. We talked about just basically the overarching home buying process. The reality is there's so many things to think about when you enter the home buying journey. It is my job in this series to help you navigate it with confidence. And we're going to talk about it from a lot of different areas and different things that you can see throughout this process. But if you haven't already, go back, look at the previous weeks and catch up. I offer free guides for each week talking about the topics that are involved in this series, and you can get that in the description below of each video. So this is a step-by-step guide to navigating the home buying journey, and more importantly and more specifically, the Atlanta market. Let's get into it. Here's the goal of this presentation. The goal of this presentation, if you have aspirations to become a homeowner, or maybe you have bought a home years ago and maybe you just wanted to get refamiliarized with the process. My goal is 4 steps. 1, to help you plan. This is a great starting place if you're planning to enter the home buying journey, whether it's tomorrow or within the next 6 months. So planning is super important. A lot of times I hear and I get this in my DMs, hey, I've been thinking about buying a home. Let me be the first to tell you, thinking about buying a home and beginning the journey of buying the home are 2 different things. So the next step is going through this series. I want you to start preparing and to feel prepared to then do step 3, act. Take action. At the end of the day, we can sit on the sidelines and look at what we want to do, but the only way we can get to actually doing something is planning, preparing, acting, implementing some of the things that we have here. And as you talk to me individually about your situation, I can give you more tools to help you to feel more equipped. And lastly, close and celebrate. And I want to emphasize celebrate. Let's be honest, whether this is your first home or your 10th home, buying a home is a huge weight. When you go through the home buying process, it's annoying. I had a call today about one of my partners asking for documentation. Listen, you are making one of the biggest financial decisions possibly in your life. So they're going to ask you for a lot of different things. They're going to ask you for your bank statements. W-2s, the 1099s, all these different things. And sometimes it can be stressful. So having someone like me who is an advisor and works through the middle and not in the emotions of it can help you navigate. But there's a lot to go into this. So you should be proud when you get those keys and you sign that last paper and you and I are high-fiving. This is a great opportunity to celebrate because you should be proud of it. And what you're going to accomplish here in the next 5 to 10 years after owning this home, you're going to be thankful for every paper that you signed. So this is the starting point to get you, whether you're a renter, to buying a home in 90 days or less. So about me, I know I said in the intro earlier on, I'm a realtor. I'm based here in Atlanta. And honestly, I know firsthand how the home buying process can be very overwhelming. And what I want to do, I want to help you, take you from the place of overwhelm to being in a place of being confident and feeling empowered to enter this journey. And that's the reason why I created this free series. This series is 13 weeks, but I'm here to help you throughout all of it. And I'm David Simpson. I'm the founder of Live&Gather Homes, brokered by Real Broker. I specialize in helping buyers, sellers, investors, and relocators across the Atlanta metro not just find a house, but find the right home for the life stage that they are in. Because as we go through life, our seasons, our stages change. I want to be there through every stage of it to help you navigate it as it relates to the Atlanta real estate. So this is 13 weeks, real education, answers. So bring your questions. I would love to help you. So this week 3, we're talking about down payment myths because the reality is I have a ton of conversations about people wanting to buy a home, and the misconceptions of down payments are so wide and varying. So I've done some research on this to understand, hey, if you never purchased a home before, what do people believe the amount that you need for a down payment? And the reality is, I'm gonna start here and say the first myth is that you don't need 20% to purchase a home. That is the biggest lie in real estate. And the reality is that when we look at the numbers, and I'll talk to you a little bit about this more, there are so many programs and free money. I don't want to say free money, but there are, if you do what they're asking of you, there are plenty of financial assistant options available to you. So, and before we get into this, I want to make a disclosure. Yes, I'm a licensed realtor. I am not a mortgage lender, so I am not certified to talk finances in the weeds of it. But through my experiences and through all of the different tools that are available to me, I can speak to you from a bird's eye view about lending. And the reality is that if you have very specific situations, reach out to me. I have partners who are here waiting to help you in your specific situation. As I said before, this is the research here. According to the National Association of Realtors, the average first-time home buyer puts down just about 8%. And I'm going to talk to you about that because there's still a gap where there are opportunities for you to enter a home that we're putting zero down. There are other opportunities for you to put down as little as 3%. But from this finding of the average of 8% being your down payment, the 20% myth is really a trap if you are not informed to know and empowered, like, hey, you don't need 20% to buy a home. Because let's think about it. In the average Atlanta market, the average sales price is about 450,000. With we have year over year, we typically range from anywhere from 3 to 5% appreciation to we have areas in the Atlanta area that are in the 15 and 20%. So let's think about that when we think about down payments. But for this example, on a $450,000 home, 20% would mean you have to come to the closing table with $90,000 for a down payment, and that is not including closing costs, which ranges anywhere from 2 to 3% of the purchase price. So when you put those two things in there, you need close to 100K just to buy the house, and that's just not true. Now, I will say, putting down less than 20% means that you're paying for PMI, which is called private mortgage insurance. But in full transparency, the equity that you'll gain over the time that you're paying PMI will outweigh the monthly fee that ranges anywhere from $100 to $300 a month. And if you're doing things the right way and strategizing strategically, working with someone like myself, where you can go in at the 3.5%, and then refinance later. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. That will save you money in the long run. FHA loans. So FHA loans is a very common loan. There are three loans you want to think about. FHA loans, which is very common, conventional loans, USDA, and VA loans. And as you can see on the far right, we're breaking down a lot of different things. For FHA loans, the lowest you need is a 3.5% down payment on the sales price of the home. Conventional loan, you need 3% down. In USDA and VA loans, you can put a little zero down. Something I will note to you, because I know everyone is probably looking at this like, wow, well, why is FHA you're doing 3.5%, conventional lower, and VA zero? The reality is, except for VA USDA, because VA is for people who have served, those spouses who have served. USDA is for typically places that are outside the metro area, which is an advantage to you that you can go in with zero down. But FHA and conventional, a lot of things that you're always thinking about with FHA and conventional is debt to income. And the way you think about that is the gross amount of money you come in that comes into your bank account per month minus your debt. That is going to give you, actually, I'm sorry, divided by your debt, and that will give you a percentage. And the biggest difference between FHA and conventional is typically your debt to income ratios, but they're great opportunities for you. In the FHA, you can put down as little as 3.5%. FHA is very forgiving on credit, as I mentioned, between the two. Also, conventional 97, 3% down for first-time home buyers. So if you're a first-time home buyer, you can put 3% down on a conventional loan, and there's a benefit to that. The PMI that I mentioned earlier, that would not be included on the conventional loan. And then obviously I mentioned earlier, VA and USDA loans, zero down for eligible military and rural buyers. Great opportunities there. And now we're going to get into some of the financial assistance opportunities. Full disclosure, there are so many different opportunities. I did not want to put it on every slide for you to see, but one of the popular ones that we see is Georgia Dream Program. That offers up to $10,000 in assistance. And honestly, there's actually an additional $5,000 for if you're a service member or work for the government as well. That gives you up to $15,000 in real money designed to help you purchase a home. It can be used towards your down payment, your closing costs, and that is a game changer. You think about it, that same $450,000 house, if we put it on 3%, we're looking at somewhere, let's do some quick math, $10,500 for the three, $10,500 for your down payment. Then we add additional 3%, let's just say for kicks and giggles. So you have another 10K, 10,500, all with a Georgia Dream example. All you would have to come to the closing table with is your down payment if we did not negotiate any closing costs. So this is a great opportunity for you. There are some income limits, but what I would say locally here in the Atlanta area, the annual salaries is very forgiving for Georgia Dream, and there are other down payment assistance programs that actually offer way more than Georgia Dream, up to 5% down payment, and that is huge because you're not only talking about down payment assistance, but also you're talking about, hey, I can put more money down on the house itself to give me a lower payment. So there are plenty of opportunities. If this resonates with you, I would love to chat with you about that. All right, type 15. I try to keep this tight for you, but listen, there's a lot of different things here that we talked about this week. So we talked about the down payment mix, right? So our key takeaways from today is you do not need 20% to buy a house, whether it's your first house, your second house. I'm going to repeat that again. You do not need 20% to buy a house. You don't even need 10%. Now, there are situations, depending on if to get rid of your debt, or you may need to clean up some of your credit. There may be some situations where, hey, you may need to come to the closing table with more money. But on average, for most people, when we've done the research, first-time home buyers pay as little as 8% down on a home, which is actually funny because it's higher than what you need as your minimum. Other takeaway is you have plenty of different down payment options. So you have Georgia Dream, which gives you $10,000, additional 5K, which make it 15,000 if you work for the city or the government. You also have other down payment assistance that can give you as much as 5% of the purchase price towards your down payment assistance to really help you be prepared to purchase a home. Next, we learned that the FHA loan is as little as 3.5% down on your home. Very forgiving loan on credit. Also, you have PMI if you put down below 20% for FHA loan. Conventional loan is going to have a lower debt to income, but you can put down as little as 3% for a first time home buyer. We also know with the conventional loan, you don't have the VA. I'm sorry, you don't have PMI to pay for that. So it does save you money. And then lastly, we have the VA and USDA loans, which is eligible for service members and rural homeowners. So this is a lot of information for this week. If you have any additional questions, I have on the screen here QR code is the far left to book a discovery call with me. No attachments. There's nothing here. I'm just here to help and be a listening ear to give you some advice. But y'all are all on social media, right? I think somebody on here. Y'all on social media. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But if you haven't already done so, I'll have the links down below. But also, if you pull your phone out, if you're not on your phone, because that'd be funny, like pull your phone out and you're like, but I'm looking at you through my phone. But you can use your QR code or hit the link down in the description to follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and if you're on YouTube right now watching me, I'm on YouTube. Live and Gather Home. So LIVEAND Gather GATHER Homes HOMES. You can follow me on any of those platforms or ask me any questions through the QR code on the far left to book a discovery call. Once again, I thank y'all for tuning in to week 3 of buying a home in 90 days or less. It may not be 90 days for you, it may be less, it may be more, but I'm here to help guide you throughout the way. But throughout this process, I want you to first prepare, plan, act, celebrate, and close. Get them keys. Thank y'all. If I don't have any questions, y'all have a great day. Peace.